Hi, welcome to Lightspeed Academy. I'm Jim Cooper, and thanks for joining me for this Lightspeed session on handling component state with useState. It's very common for components to need to manage state, such as the list of items in a cart or whether a menu is open or closed. In React, you manage this state with a React hook called useState. Let's jump in and take a look at how to do this. In our last video, we added this event handler to handle clicks on the Add to Cart button. And it calls this add to cart method right here in our outpost component. And we saw that items are getting added to our cart array when we click the button. But unfortunately, React is unaware that this is happening, and so clicking the add to cart button doesn't cause it to re-render and show the cart items here even though they are in the cart array. That's because modifying the cart is a side effect. And when side effects occur, you need to manage them with a React hook like useEffect or useState. Since we are actually managing the state of our cart, we'll use the useState hook to handle this. To do this, we'll start in our outpost component where we're managing our state, and we will import useState from React. And then down here, we will get rid of our cart variable, and we'll replace it with a call to useState like this. If you're not too familiar with JavaScript destructuring, this first part is an interesting syntax. useState returns an array with two items in it, the current state and a function to change the value of the state. And we're using array destructuring to create cart and setCart variables and assign those returned array items to those variables. So now we can use this cart variable to access the value of the cart and this setCart function to change its state. We're already using this cart variable down here. But right here in our add to cart method, instead of modifying the cart directly, we need to call setCart. And then we need to give it the new state of the cart. So we'll set this to a new array, and then I'll add all of the existing cart items to that array using the spread operator. And finally, I'll also add our new product. So calling this setCart function is our way of letting React know we're changing the value of the cart state and that it needs to do a re-render. React will then re-render and update the cart component down here with the latest state of our cart. The only problem we have right now is that when this component first renders, before we add anything to the cart, our cart variable is going to be null because we haven't initialized it. We want the initial state of our cart to be an empty array. So we can provide the initial state to our initial useState call like this. Okay, now our cart variable will be initially set to an empty array, and this should be working great. Let's go check this out. So now when I click the add to cart button, sweet, we finally have a functioning outpost page that adds items to the cart. And React now knows to re-render because we're using the useState hook. There's just one last thing that you might be wondering about. What if we needed to track multiple pieces of state? For example, in addition to tracking our cart, what if we needed to track a user object? Well, we could do that by just adding another useState call like this. So you can call useState for each piece of state that you need to track, and you get a separate variable and function for each one. And that's really all there is to using the useState hook to manage component state. If you want to keep going, here is the next video on conditionally rendering content, and here is the entire Lightspeed React playlist. And of course, please like and subscribe if you'd like to see the other content that we're putting together. And thanks, and keep learning at Lightspeed.